Welcome to the second part of this question and answer video. I recorded more than I thought I would in that first one, so here's part two, me continuing to answer your questions. If you missed part one, you can click right up there to check that out, but otherwise, let's just get back into it. Epic Meatball asks if my friends and family supported my idea. Yeah, I'd say that overall, everyone was very supportive of it. I think a lot of them, including my parents, just wanted to be sure that this would be like financially sound for me. I think a lot of that goes back to that period I talked about in 2014, 2015, where I did something like this and it didn't exactly work out. I also think that for my parents specifically, they don't really understand YouTube or how people are YouTubers for jobs. But my friends were very supportive. They saw the work that I was doing and they knew that it was good and they told me as such. And especially thank God for my close friends who sat there and listened to me complain for 6 months about how I wanted YouTube to be my job. And they were just like, yeah, man, we know you want it to be your job. It probably will be, so just keep doing what you're doing. I think people were mostly supportive because they just wanted to see me be healthy again. Like the people really close around me were seeing how run down I was by doing 2 full-time jobs. So I think they were just really happy for me when I was finally able to leave the one job and do YouTube full-time. They're like, oh, good dude, now you can actually sleep. And now maybe you can actually come to these social events that we keep inviting you to. And you're like, no, I can't. So maybe that support was a little selfish on their part. The Sledgehammer asks what drives me to do YouTube as a job. And as they suggest, part of it is being just in charge of my own schedule. Chelsea also works at home. She makes costumes for cosplayers and anyone who wants a costume or a dress. And so working at home, we get to be together all day, which is like awesome. I always hate the stereotypical relationships, especially in like older comedy programs where the couple's together and they just can't stand each other. Cause I'm always watching it like, well then why the fuck are you together? Just break the fuck up. I love spending all day, every day with Chelsea. She's the funniest person I know. I love being around her. We jive so well. We're a good working team. Plus I get to hang out with Lucy all day. Aw, she walked in right at the perfect time. Lucy's our little baby cat, and so me and Chelsea and Lucy are a happy family that gets to spend all day, every day together now. Hi, baby cat. And seriously, just like seeing my girls, as I call them, every day is the best thing. It makes me so much happier than having to go to work every day. Lucy helps me edit videos. That's not true. You're useless. Oh, she gone. And honestly, another thing I love about it is getting full credit for the energy and work I put into something. When you make videos for a big corporation like Fox, your name's not really anywhere attached to it. Like all the videos I edited for them, even the ones that got millions of views or whatever, my name isn't anywhere in there. And that's not them being dicks, that's just kind of like how it is. And I don't agree with that. I think that all people who work on a video should get credit for it. But that's just kind of the way it goes, man, in that world. And since I don't agree with that, it's really nice to be able to be free of that and make a video where my name's all over it. And I guess I'm kind of selfish because it's always been difficult for me to be at a job where I'm just supposed to like give myself over to the company. I've never been able to do that. I've never felt that passionate about a place that I've worked for to be willing to just like sacrifice everything for them. When it comes to my own work, I will sacrifice a whole bunch to make it as good as I can make it and to get it done. But when it comes to stuff where I'm just like throwing my work into a pile for corporate profits, it's hard for me to care that much about it. Masked Man / Clover and Stranger Kid have asked me how this job is going for me. If I like it, if it's fun, if it stresses me out. Yes, all of those things. I mean, you can probably tell just from my other responses in this video, but I love doing this as a job. There's nothing else I would rather be doing right now at this point in my life than this job. I love reaching a bunch of people, especially young audiences who I hope to be able to influence in a positive way. I love watching tons of movies because I have to talk about them all the time. I love that talking about movies is what I'm getting paid to do. It's so great. And I like sharing my sense of humor with people and to find people that actually think I'm funny. That's great. I mean, people have always thought I'm funny, let's be real. But to have more people enjoy my sense of humor, that's so validating to me as a person. That's so validating to like the middle school me who would be dicking around and thinking he was funny, and he kind of was, but not really middle school James. But now if I ever time travel, I can go back there and be like, dude, just keep it up, you'll work your way through it, and eventually you actually will be kind of funny. And like 500,000 people online will think so too. It is super stressful. I'm working just as much, if not more, than I did before I left Fox. What with the increased schedule and just like my ambitions for this channel. But I am also able to sleep more and spend more time with Chelsea and work out. I've been working out. It's so nice. And see friends, those are fun friends. Friends are cool. Have friends. And so for people like Mad Cat, that pissed off pussycat who asked me why I do this as a job, it's because I feel like I have to. I don't know what else I would be doing right now at this point in my life, because this is something I'm good at, and this is something that I can get even better at, and this is something that is resonating with people, and I want to ride that wave, man. I don't want to be a YouTuber all my life, but I'm cool with being a YouTuber for this part of my life because I love doing it, and I think you guys love me doing it too. RexFist180 asks, if I didn't do YouTube, what would my job be? I think the most realistic answer is I would be a trailer editor. That's what my buddy Mike from Fresh Plays does. He edits movie trailers. And I think that because editing is the skill that I've honed the most, and I've also really developed an ability to take parts of a movie and make it make sense, cutting out all the other stuff, because I do that in both The Kill Count and Drunk Disney. I think that those skills combined would make me a fucking bomb-ass trailer editor. Plus, it sounds like the most fun you can have at a job working for other people. You're doing fun, creative stuff. The project changes every couple of weeks. That's the kind of stuff I like. The stuff I can't stand is the idea of doing the same thing over and over and over again forever. And yes, I know The Kill Count is pretty much the same thing every week to week, but the jokes are new. Erminia Saucedo, fun name, asks if I'm going to any horror conventions this year, or if I'll be speaking at any of them, or if I'll just keep making videos about them. Yo, if you're associated with a horror convention, hit me up, because I would love to be like a panel speaker or a guest at one. I don't know what I would talk about. I guess just like horror on YouTube. I could probably do that at this point, but I'll definitely keep going to all the ones in Southern California. I'm gonna try to make it to one that's not in California this year, and anyone that I go to, I will definitely make videos at. Shona696 asks what I do in my spare time besides editing. What's spare time? No, for real, most of every day is spent doing Dead Meat stuff. I work 7 days a week, and while editing takes up the most time, it's also all the writing, the graphic design, watching the movies, just coming up with ideas. Filming takes a long, like this right here, this is taking up time. In the few hours of my life that aren't allocated to Dead Meat or like sleeping, I do like to watch bad, funny movies with Chelsea. We really like watching bad movies and making fun of them and just having a good time. I love playing Duck Game on Steam. Duck Game's fucking dope. I've been recording a D&D podcast with my Practical Folks people and Mike and Beth from Fresh Plays. James Gressel is heading that. That'll be out in a couple of weeks, a month or two at most, I think. I've finally gotten back into exercise, which is great. I've been trying to do that on the regs. I also read. I try to read every night before bed, a half hour to an hour. It's a lot of horror stuff right now. I'm reading Jack Ketchum's Off Season since he just recently passed away, and I realized I've never read anything of his. Last Stephen King, I just finished Pet Sematary. I did The Haunting earlier this year, and a book about the Russian oligarchy called Nothing is True and Everything is Possible. I'm also super into news and politics. If you follow my personal Twitter at James A. Janice, you've probably noticed. And so that takes up a significant portion of my time and energy each day as well, because there's a lot to keep up with there. And that's it, man. That's my life. That's all the things I do. All of them. You got it. Now you know. Finally, I'll end this video responding to questions about my girlfriend, which a lot of you asked about, which I think is pretty sweet. Mr. Mulligan, Fritz43, Legan, and Zeba Neba, among many others, asked me how and when did I meet my girlfriend. I met Chelsea in college. We both went to the University of Michigan, and we both majored in film production. So we were both a bunch of film nerds. I think I met her when I was in a previous relationship, and we became friends, as most film students do. And then after that previous relationship ended, I was still really good friends with her. I have a whole bunch of memories of us just getting together randomly as friends and just hanging out, and me just being like, wow, Chelsea Rebecca's a really cool chick. In fact, the first time I ever reached out to anyone on Facebook back in college to see if anyone wanted to do sketch comedy, which is how I got my start on YouTube, she responded right away. I still remember that day. I want to respond specifically to this question from Rabid Dog asking how I felt when I met her for the first time. Because I want to be real with you, when I met her, I was like, oh, hi, nice to meet you. I'm James. And it wasn't just because I was in a different relationship at the time, just because, you know, most people, when you meet them, they're just people. I obviously thought she was a very attractive lady, and I figured we had a lot of things in common, but you know, when you meet someone, you don't always think about the romantic potentialities within that relationship. And I think it's really important to just let you guys know that you don't have to always be looking out for like the butterflies or whatever media tells you is what love feels like. Just because I know a lot of you are young and you're probably like looking for relationships, I just want to let you know, don't fret about it. Like, our relationship came so naturally. It came after years of us being friends and then just realizing like, hey, I mean, we kind of get along more than friends. You want to do that? You want to try that? And we did, and it's worked out great, and I love it. So like, maybe love at first sight is a thing for people, but for us, I think I'm more appreciative of the fact that our relationship was built with such a strong foundation of us being friends for years beforehand. Especially because when we finally decided to get together was like right before she moved out here. And I was still in Michigan working an office job to try to save up enough money to come out to Los Angeles. So we had to do long distance relationship for 4 months right off the bat. Like, as soon as we started dating, it was immediate 4 months of long distance without ever seeing each other besides through FaceTime and Skype and stuff like that. Because neither of us could afford to fly back and forth. So that was a really hard time, and I don't think a new relationship would have survived survive that if we didn't have those years of friendship before that. And that was really cool. When I finally had enough money to move out here, she flew back with a one-way flight, and then we drove together from Michigan out to Los Angeles, taking Route 66 the whole time. That road trip is going to be one of my favorite memories of my entire life, forever, until I die. And I just love all the sights that I saw with her, and that really, I think, was like, hey, you know what? Those last 4 months were worth it. And for anyone asking, we started dating in August of 2012, so yeah, this year it will be 6 years. No, we're not married, and no, right now we're not engaged, and I think it's a rude question to ask, when you gonna pop the question? Different people have different life tracks, man, and while I'm sure we'll get married relatively soon, you know, right now is still that kind of transition period with Dead Meat being my job and everything. I'm still trying to get like the ground under my feet stable. I can't imagine planning a wedding. I've seen friends plan weddings. It takes over your life for months, and I want to make sure that however we get married is something very special and not rushed or like a secondhand distraction to what we're actually doing. We're very happy right now with our relationship and our little baby cat, so chill the fuck out, all right? And Nick Dean asks, does my girlfriend like horror movies as much as me? I'd say at this point, yeah. It was cool because she was always into them independently. In the film program at University of Michigan, she took a horror movie class that I had always wanted to, but never really did. I guess college was probably like my low point of interest in horror movies, just because the people around me at that time weren't interested in them. But she took that class, and I'm forever jealous of her for it. And she likes and knows about horror movies independently and outside of that class and outside of anything I bring to her. And finally, fun little question to end off with is a lot of people asked about my hair. Marshall McNamee, Tommy Grill, William Palmatier, thank you for saying that my hair looks cool. It is shocking for me to hear and see those kinds of comments about my hair, because I would say that for my entire life, I've struggled with finding a good hairstyle. In fact, all of high school and college, I would say, was just a parade of embarrassing haircuts that I thought worked for me at the time, but it's obvious looking back, no sir, those didn't work for anyone. Even after college, as an adult, I would say that my hair more often than not was not good. Go ahead and go watch my Drunk Disney videos, which started being released in 2013. You can see a lot of bad hairstyles in them, with my hair only on a few occasions being like, oh hey, that's not horrible. I'm very happy that when I decided to do Dead Meat, I decided to finally take the plunge and do like this undercut kind of thing. It's not fully an undercut, but it's a hairstyle that has been around for a while, that has kind of like teased me, but I was too afraid to doing it because I kind of have this high hairline that I'm self-conscious of. Less so nowadays, thankfully. So I put off ever trying to get it because I thought I might look dumb, but I got it after I think the 3rd episode of The Kill Count. You can watch those first 3. I have my old style hair, which is not flattering. I look like Pete Campbell from Mad Men, and you never want to be compared to Pete Campbell from Mad Men, especially when it comes to hair. But now I've finally in my life found a hairstyle that I like and I'm happy with. It's the first hairstyle I've ever gotten that finally makes me feel like I look like the person I feel like. Parse that one out, you nerds, it makes sense. But for all of you asking how I do it, let's look at Couch Gaming's question. Will I ever do a hair tutorial? I think so. I'll probably end up posting it on Practical Folks because it's so off-brand for Dead Meat. I don't know how many subscribers would want to see it, but because so many people have asked that question and always ask me in live streams, I'll make a fucking video, man. And that'll about do it for me today on answering your questions. Thank you so much for being so excited about this video and leaving so many questions that give me a chance to engage with you guys some more. I always love doing it. So thanks again for watching. Be sure to, subscribe, like, do all that shit. But most importantly, be good people.